Namaste. My name is Seema Kulkarni. Greetings from Malaysia. I would like to thank organizers and expert panel for giving me an opportunity to share my story. I feel very honored to be here today. Thanks also for the topic, year 2070. I have enjoyed the process of researching the material for the story. It was an interesting task to extrapolate the available information to fit into the future, that is 50 years from now. Thank you, Dr. Srihari, Dr. Krishnamurthy, and Dr. Sangeeta for your timely updates and valuable suggestions. I'm here today to present my short story in English, A Red Trajectory. I may not be able to read the whole story word by word due to time constraint. However, I'll try to do my best to bring out the essence of the story through narration. The story is set in Mars in the Earth year 2070. Dr. Sharmila Rai and her husband, Dr. Sadvik Rai, are both acclaimed geologists. They are among the senior scientists representing India in the United World Scientist team. They have been a part of the human settlement on Mars since the Earth year 2066 with their twin daughters, Samita, Sujita, and their humanoid robotic assistant, Maya. Before I proceed with the story, may I share with you my impression of the human settlement on Mars. I call it as Mars Colony A. You can see here dome-like structures. Each dome is a multi-storied structure, and they are huge inflatable structures. You can see the thick wall outside, thick outer layer, and it's filled with transparent gel-like material, something like ice. It offers protection from radiations, extreme temperature, and it also allows the sunlight to enter the inner dome where the inmates are either working or resting. You can see here the main laboratory at the center of the Mars Colony A, that is the heart of the colony, and it's connected to various domes like the residential dome, recreation dome, greenhouse dome where they grow food, and storage dome, education dome, more laboratories here, medical facility. Each dome is connected by a tube-like structure, again with a thick outer layer filled with transparent gel-like material, again offering protection from radiations and extreme temperature, and also it lets the sunlight in. You can see solar panels here, and as long as the inmates are inside the domes or walking past the tube-like structures, they do not need to wear their oxygen masks and the pressurized space suits, because the pressure is regulated and also the oxygen levels are regulated, and also the temperature is controlled. Let's go back to the story. The story documents some important events that take place in and around Rai family on a particular date, that is 30th of September 2070. 30th September is an important date in the calendar for the Rai family. It is Samita and Sujita's birthday. It is also the day that Rai family had safely landed on Mars in year 2066. To add to the list of family celebrations, the twins have formally completed their graduation from Mars Academy of Scientific Research and Development. Samita and Sujita are among the first batch of 6 graduates who have been trained to assist the research teams working on Mars. Coincidentally, 30th September is also a very crucial day for the entire human race on Earth, on Mars, on Moon, and on international space stations. Apophis megalo, an asteroid larger than 1 kilometer in diameter, is likely to pass through the Earth's orbit with tremendous speed at any moment. Though the scientists are well prepared and are confident of deflecting the path of the asteroid, only time can reveal the outcome. Considering this impending threat to planet Earth, there is a feeling of panic among the inmates of Mars colony. Everyone is worried about their family, their friends back on Earth. At this juncture comes a twist in the story. An announcement made from Central Space Agency on Earth confirms that scientists have been successful in diverting the path of Apophis megalo. Planet Earth is safe, it's out of danger. The day is to be celebrated as Victory Day for the entire human race. Inmates of Mars colony are overwhelmed with a sense of relief and people are ecstatic. Rai family is no exception either. They plan for a small get-together in the evening at their residence somewhere here to celebrate the Victory Day along with their daughter's birthday. Their colleagues and young graduates are to join them in the evening. The story now takes us to the Rai's residence. For Rai family, the day so far has emerged to be a day of many happy coincidences. After initial exchange of greetings, the head of Mars Academy of Scientific Research and Development, Dr. Dilip Vikramasinghe, announces about the formal induction of all 6 graduates into the research team working on Project Titan, besides the projects that are currently underway on Mars. Here, I have extrapolated my knowledge and understanding of the latest in space exploration by a figment of imagination, a probable trajectory of innovation from 2020 to 2070. In the story, more than a dozen of spacecrafts are launched by Western and Eastern countries between the year 2020 and 2030. They are collecting data, samples from the surface of Mars. Mission Mars 1, scheduled in 2024-25 to send humans on a one-way trip, is put on hold indefinitely due to technical hurdles. Finally, in 2030, a mission to Mars is made possible with humanoid robots specifically developed for the mission. Later, in 2036, yet another mission carries more specialized humanoid robots that lay the foundations of the settlement that you see here in the picture. By year 2038, the Central Space Agency has built a gas station on Moon with the help of smart giant robots. A place where astronauts would stop to refuel and stock up supplies before embarking on a 6 months long journey to the Red Planet. The first group of astronauts, according to the story, land on the Mars in the year 2040. The story also predicts that a know-how to utilize the underground water on Mars around the year 2050 brings about a self-sufficiency in growing food. However, a heavy dependence on robot fleet to carry out the task outside the settlement continues. Dr. Sharmila and Dr. Satvik have always inspired and nurtured their daughter's dream, an ardent wish to be on Mars and an ardor to be a part of the research team in search of a second home for the human race. For Rai family, 30th September is indeed an eventful day of achievements, happy moments, and important career decisions. The story ends with a positive note, that is, Dr. Satvik and Dr. Sharmila express their wish to head home, that is back to Earth, and resume their work to make Earth a better place to live, while their next generation pursues the human dream of conquering Mars and beyond. Thank you so much.
Hello. This is a story that I have written called Ayushman Bharat, a vision for a healthier India. It should have been oppressively hot for the month of June. Instead, a fairly cool breeze blew in through the open window. Although the lockdown was only partially lifted, it was possible to keep the windows open without being assailed with traffic noise and dust. The student took a deep breath. The COVID 19 pandemic was unsettling for everybody, but more so for a new recruit to research like him. The laboratory had been closed since April and was not likely to reopen until it was deemed to be safe. Worse, he still didn't know the specific area of his research. The virus seemed like a great topic. It was fairly well characterized, but the etiology and progression of infection were unclear. It primarily targeted the upper respiratory tract, descended into the lungs, and shut down the respiratory mechanism. But there were several unanswered questions. Was the severity of infection due to comorbidities like hypertension and diabetes? Or did an overreactive immune system give rise to a cytokine storm that led to a systemic collapse? Or was it just another influenza like viral infection? Two things were certain. The world needed a suitable drug to combat the infection and a vaccine to prevent the recurrence of a pandemic. He decided to call on his mentor and discuss the issue. So, you feel it is necessary to work on this virus? Asked the professor. Yes, I believe this is the most important thing in the world right now, said the student. Important or relevant? This is definitely relevant. Nothing is clear about this virus, its origin, its spread, its effect on the host. There even seems to be some post infective sequelae, explained the student. I don't think we will ever know the truth about the origin, agreed the professor. You know its primary host. The student thought for a while. Several reports say it may be bats or pangolins, but humans are definitely susceptible to the virus. I observed that it didn't kill any of the stray dogs and cats in my neighborhood. Plus, there are no reports on livestock being affected. And yet, all these animals show a high degree of homology in the protein that acts as the entry point for the virus. A Chinese group has published that, added the professor. There was an uncomfortable silence. Both student and professor didn't want to acknowledge that the virus could have been created to target a specific host. Humans are definitely good hosts, said the student. Look at the number of people in quarantine and hospital and in ICUs. I am so glad I have this covered in my health insurance. I don't have that kind of insurance, said the professor with a smile. Anyway, a vaccine should put an end to all this uncertainty, insisted the student. I would like to find a good, suitable candidate for the vaccine. The professor pursed his lips. This is a rapidly mutating RNA virus. Do you still think that a vaccine will work? There are vaccines against other RNA viruses. Maybe an RNA vaccine will work, offered the student. There is no guarantee, shrugged the professor. And no one is really sure about how the vaccine can be delivered to entire populations. By the time the vaccine finally comes through, the pandemic would be over. Really? There could be a second wave, hazarded the student. herd immunity will probably set in. Look, we are all working on premises with this virus. We don't even know if the virus is natural. Suppose there is a COVID 21 or a COVID 22. How many COVID viruses would anyone make? The student sounded incredulous. How many vaccines will you take? Countered the professor. There is no other option, was the defiant answer. Then the professor spoke slowly and deliberately. Tell me, when a country knows its enemies, what's the best thing it can do? Build its arsenal and reinforce its defenses. It is naive to order weapons to be manufactured based on what the enemy uses when it launches an attack. In the same way, we should also build our arsenal against these infections. But that cannot come from a vaccine that takes ages to be proven safe. It has to start with building up the immunity of the population. Then the country will be protected sufficiently to decrease the severity of this infection or similar infections. The student considered this information with a frown. Are we talking about vitamins, exercise, better nutrition and clean water, hygienic living conditions? That is government policy. I can't do my research project on that. The despair in his voice was palpable. Look at it this way, said the professor gently. Given such a large population and the largely below average standard of living, the country was a ticking time bomb waiting to explode with infections. But that hasn't really happened. What do you think could be the reason? I know a lot of people started taking precautions, mostly homemade remedies, maybe yoga, and of course, the lockdown helped to keep people isolated. People also went back to home food, the staple Indian diet. You do know that the diet can alter the microbiome of an individual, asked the professor. So it is possible that something innately present in our population fought off the virus. But it's such a deadly virus, the student's voice trailed off. It is deadly because it compromises lung infection rapidly. It isn't as if people have not been affected or have shown symptoms different from those of patients from other countries, explained the professor. But if you look at the statistics of mortality, it does seem that India is better off than some other countries, especially those that have an annual vaccine regimen. Perhaps those populations were exposed to a more virulent strain, suggested the student. The professor shook his head as if to clear the confusion. I'm not sure. But you should know that people in the US and Italy take annual flu shots. Have you ever heard of anyone take a flu vaccine in India, even though it is available? No, never. But I still don't see why I shouldn't look for a good vaccine candidate for COVID 19, exclaimed the student. Are you thinking along the lines of a patent and commercial production? That is a corporate mindset, said the professor. Well, it would be great to hold a patent, right? Asked the student eagerly. In your quest to get a patent, don't lose sight of the relevance of your search. Also, don't presume to know everything about the human body and how it works and sell your idea to gullible and desperate people. But surely, with our knowledge of the immune system, we can fight the pandemic, exclaimed the student. Definitely, said the professor. Now we are getting somewhere. Why don't you look at the connection between the diet, the microbiome, and the immune system? Look at the ingredients in our food, our spices that could pose some resistance to the virus. Is that even a research project? Asked the student doubtfully. If the Mediterranean diet or the Okinawa diet is the scientific basis for longevity, then this, my friend, is just as valid. Such a project needs systematic data collection from subjects. Create your sample set, maybe several sample sets. Prepare a questionnaire and gather information about those who have or who haven't had the infection, said the professor. And then study the microbiome of their upper respiratory tract, or maybe find a bioactive that can keep the virus from entering the cells, right? Said the student excitedly. Yes, smiled the professor. Find an explanation for the low incidence of mortality, because that would explain the trend of the pandemic in India. We can then alter our way of looking at health insurance. Don't blindly pay premiums. Prepare yourself to avoid hospitalization. That would be the true definition of Ayushman Bharat. Thank you.
Hello, let me take you on a story of the future, which could very well happen to us after a few years of time. Let me begin with my office. Yeah, the office where I work has sensors embedded into those walls. Do you want to know what those sensors are? Well, they are thought sensors. Yes, you heard it right. They are thought sensors and they detect any thought which come to our minds. Even the teeny weeniest thought is recorded by these sensors. Am I thinking of yesterday's dinner? Am I thinking about the money which I have to transfer to a colleague or a friend? Or am I thinking about an upcoming party? Am I thinking about my appointment with the beautician? Or am I thinking about the fight which I had with my husband last week? Well, the thought sensors would catch it all. So basically, I was working in an office where there were brains everywhere. Ears can only hear, eyes can only see, but the brains decipher what is being heard and what is being seen. So these corridors were intelligent. Not just the corridors, even our cabins were equipped with these sensors. The only places where they were not put up were the washrooms and the dining hall. Washrooms for obvious reasons and dining hall because nobody went there except during lunch. So yes, what happens when we think of something other than work at workplace? We get disturbed, we get perturbed, we wonder and we think of so many things that we cannot focus on our work. So our work suffers. Naturally. The sensors, the thought sensors, heard everything and relayed it to the central server. It was monitored by a robot who would wait till our thoughts reached a threshold. And then we were warned. We were warned not to think too much. We were warned not to overthink. We were warned not to think of personal things or grudges or frustrations during work time. These would come as tiny, tiny beeps which would resonate in the entire office. This made most people not to think of anything except work. In addition, we were all given a personal digital assistant. Usage of this digital assistant was optional. What it would actually do is that it would again reprimand us when we did something wrong. It couldn't read thoughts, but it could read us. Means when I made a mistake, it would tell us that I made a mistake in not so good words. Since it was a digital assistant, we couldn't find fault or we couldn't feel bad. We just had to take it at the face value. And you know something? I had fitted in my primary school's teacher's voice into the assistant. Some of them fitted their mother's voices, some of them fitted their mother-in-law's voices, some of them fitted their spouse's voices, but I chose to put in my teacher's voice. I had recorded it when I spoke to her once, you see, and the digital assistant converted that voice into various quotes. To be fair, our office didn't intrude on our thoughts or on our private space when we were at lunch. Lunchtime was free time. We could think what we want, we could gossip as much as we want, we could talk, we could do anything during those 45 minutes, which was kind of golden hour in our office timing. Then came Corona. Oh yeah, no one knew that this would turn our world upside down. The world struggled hard to balance itself on the onslaught of Corona. So did our office. We had to maintain social distancing. We couldn't meet people. We couldn't go to office. But work shouldn't stop. It should go on because we had a lot of projects to complete and we had more projects coming in. Corona didn't affect us. It only affected our movements. Working from home was actually not a problem. We all could work from home because ours was heavily technology based. But the problem was that we were so accustomed to having sensors around us that our thoughts automatically stopped when we were at office. But work from home meant that the thought sensors were no longer present. So during work hours, I could think of whatever I wanted. Oh, I haven't had my bath yet. Shall I quickly run before the next meeting and finish it off? I haven't finished cooking. Oh, then it's almost time for lunch. Shall I quickly pop into the kitchen to put on the cooker? The cupboard needs a bit of cleaning. Why don't I just sort it out before the next meeting? Oh my God, look at these children, the way they have strewn everything around. Can I quickly put it back before starting on my next assignment? These were the kind of thoughts which were running in many people's mind. These and much more. The only way was to bring in these thought sensors into our minds and how to do it. Yeah, but these tech guys are awesome, I tell you. They figured out a way in which they could transfer these sensors onto our brains. How? Our Wi-Fi, of course. They would transfer it to our laptops, which in turn would transfer them to our brains. So it was done, and it was during this that the problem happened. Can you imagine what could have happened? Anything based on technology is also dependent on humans. And human beings are dependent on their mood swings, on their emotions and our thoughts. God knows what the technology guys were thinking, but what actually happened was that during the process of embedding these sensors, all the wires got entangled and everything got connected to me. Yes, you heard it right, it got connected to me. So here I was, being privy to many thoughts of many people. My colleague was worrying about her children's online classes. Another colleague was worried about the debts he had to clear. Somebody else was thinking of something else. So many people's office and everything got connected to my brain. So what happened to me? Where were my thoughts? They were lost in a big forest of thoughts. Thoughts everywhere. I could think not just my thoughts but other thoughts too. I was bewildered. I was scared. What's happening? What's happening? What are these thoughts? Who are these people who are getting into my brain and talking so many things? How do I convey it to those IT people? How do I tell them that something's gone horribly wrong? Yes, it has gone wrong. I'm not able to focus. I'm not able to think. I'm not able to do anything. Oh my God, I'm drowning. I'm drowning in thoughts. I'm drowning in the sea of voices in my head. I'm not able to make out anything. Oh my God, I'm not even able to call out. God, what was I thinking of next? Somebody's thoughts is intruding on mine. Somebody else's thoughts is also intruding on them. Oh, it is a huge tangle. When you overload something, what happens? It crashes. You overload your system with junk. Your system will rebel. Same thing happened to me. My brain got overloaded with thoughts. As it is, we have some 60,000 or odd thoughts a day. Imagine this getting multiplied by the number of employees in our company, which was more than 500. You'll get an idea. It was horrible. And then there was only one thing which could happen: a huge, resounding crash. There was a big tangle of thoughts, tangle of words, tangle of images in my brain. And suddenly, without any clue, there was silence. Absolute silence. Bone chilling silence, which could be construed as bliss or as a curse. It was as if a hammer was being dug into my brain, and suddenly it stopped. I had no thoughts. I had never been like this any time in my life. I felt I was sitting on a comfortable chair, rocking to and fro, not thinking of anything, nothing. The server had truly crashed. I was not worried with the outside world. I was enveloped in my own silence. The story ends here, but there is also a message. When our thoughts are more than what we can handle, our brain shuts down. Here, the shutting down was due to others, due to a wrong wiring. But many times it happens to us. We think so much that at one point the brain simply crashes. And in today's world, there are so many noises, so many thoughts, so many words, so many images, so much of data around us. There is always a risk that our brains will crash. Let us save our brains from crashing and stop overthinking.
It is polite to start with a warm welcome to the dignitaries who gave me this platform to present my paper on science fiction short story writing. I am Vishnupriya. I am studying second year English literature in Sri Sharada College, Autonomous. I am from Salem, Tamil Nadu. Let's start my presentation. The Space Union Organization, NASA, ISRO, CNSA, SpaceX, and JXA were on a plan to send humanoid robots instead of humans for the first try to the exploration of exoplanet Proxima Centauri b. It provides silence around the surroundings everywhere. They were ready to start the journey to the exoplanet. The count starts 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. The spaceship starts the journey to the space. It travels out of the Earth. Everything went okay. The union of the research members were happy about the exploration of exoplanet. Suddenly, after reaching the outer space of the Earth, the spaceship stopped in between. Michael Jacob and Alice Renestra stumbled about this bug happened. Their connectivity towards Earth disconnected due to degeneration of spaceship USCSS Prometheus. They both were in search of the ship manual to control the spaceship. The too many humanoid robots took revenge against the squad as CNSA programmed them with thousands and thousands of nano programs. The hackers who came to know about the project over the Union hacked the memory sensor of AI programmed robots. So the robots malpracticed and silently stopped the spaceship. The survival squad chief, Michael and Alice, have only 45 minutes. If the spaceship stands there for a while, it will automatically start a fusion with nuclear reactor in the engine and causes a fire blast in the ship. Another thing is to correct the AI program of the two mini robots, Jasper and Zara. Alice wasn't correcting the chip of the rudder. It takes solidly about 20 minutes. By the side, Michael starts searching the manual of the spaceship. Time's going tick. There is a big deal in changing the chip of Jasper and Zara. If we take the chips from it within 2 minutes, it's gonna dismantle itself automatically. So there is a stumbling block between time, correction, and exploration. It is first test to the potentiality of the star survival squad without human help from Earth. Alice was in a rush to the former the new chip. The process was quickly managed and the chip was corrected. Time is very fast, makes it makes more than 20 minutes. But Michael was in search of the manual. Now they four started searching. At last, anyways, identified the manual chamber and restarted the spaceship. But the Union in the Earth were announced the failure of the project. They decided it by the disconnectivity. So by the point of view, the project failed, but by God's grace, it was restarted by survival squad stars in the spaceship. Several distant years and days are passing. As humans, they need no food or any basic needs of human. You know, creating humanoid robots is the amazing and mind-blowing invention of humans. So, their one and only basic need is to charge themselves and updating the advanced version day by day to pass their time. The spaceship was not manually, was automatically designed. Their daily routine is to check ship activities and advancing their self and check the directions and happenings around them in the space. The days went okay with everything. Suddenly, one day, starts alarming from any corner of the ship. Michael Jacob, Alice Dennistar, Jasper, and Zara went and notified what's going on around the ship. They went to the controlling chamber of the spaceship. There arises problems with the engine of the spaceship. Within few hours, for every 10 minutes, they started alarming from every corner of the spaceship. There were continuous alarming sound arises. This created a big mess during the journey of this. There were minor corrections, but gathering one by one at last became a big problem. The robots were without the help of the humans, so they need to know more info to reconstruct technical fault in the spaceship. So the star squads learning more to correct the faults arises in the ship. Days and years passed so long, but the minor faults lead to serial blast. So as soon as possible, they want to clear it one by one. Now they four separated and went and searched each and every nook and corner to correct the minor faults of the spaceship. Thereby started another error. The ship lost its automatic control and lost its direction. One must control the spaceship. So, Michael, the hero of the Star Squad, controlling the spaceship, then Alice, Jasper, Zara went along doing the work. After this great challenges coming one by one, if there is any human couldn't tolerate these many challenges to face and definitely give it up. But the robots are manually created by the human creatively. They were in strong confirmation that not to give up at any cost of situation. As they have programmed with human feelings, they four were united and acted a family of life with strong courage to face the challenges cannot everything in this world cannot grab by us easily. We should work hard for everything to grab it. Absolutely suits to the Star Squad by facing the challenges with unity and love between them. Finally, they reached their destiny of the exploration of new exoplanet Proxima Centauri b. The robots, stunned to see the Earth-like exoplanet, the Star Squad landed their spaceship in the land surface of Proxima Centauri b. Everyone has some curiosity. If we have hear to new things or see through a new thing, we all might have an intense curiosity to see the opposite. Likewise, the star squads too have the same curiosity to get into the planet here. The surface of the exoplanet Proxima Centauri b looks same as the Earth with rocky surface and mountains surround it look like a guard around the planet. The rumble of the water makes them surprise. Now, while seeing everything, they got separated and went to all the nook and corner of the planet to collect the samples around them for their research. They have collected the samples of sand, soil, rocks, and water. They have collected the needed samples for their purpose. They have noted the climatic changes around them and the gaseous elements level and found that they have enough amount of oxygen to breathe. They have stayed there for more than a week to collect all the details they needed. From the earth, they have bought some plant seeds to test the soil quality to do agriculture. In future days, as it is the basic need of humans, they have planted a plant there. Within a week, it had normal growth. They will have become too surprised to the baby plant in their new planet. While staying in the planet, Jasper and Zara went to check the photographs of the climate around them. Suddenly, a crying sound heard by them. Within a particular distance, they both panicked and extrude their weapons. They save a different creature, beeping with a different sound. They can't get what it is trying to say. Zara has programmed with a language translator in it. It was Alice's creativity and advance over Zara. Now it helps them to understand the creature's knowledge, language. It's trying to ask, who are you? Are you an alien of our neighbor planet? How many of you were landed in our planet? Jasper and Zara were stumbled to answer the creature's question and information about the project of exploration of exoplanet. And we are four landed in the planet. Michael and Alice were our chief commanders of Star Survival Squad. I am Zara and he is Jasper. We two, the members of the squad, we are sent by the Union of Five Space Research Organization from Earth to check the habitability status of this planet for future human survival. Here and where by asking everything, the creature replied, don't tell them we are surviving in this planet. But Zara and Jasper replied that we are not humans to hide anything and lying to others. We are robots. It is not in our program. The creature touched them both. It creates some discomfort suddenly. The creature disappears by erasing the memory lines of Zara and Jasper. After a few hours, they went unknown to the chief squads. They packed up everything and planned to return home. They have started the spaceship and to the journey back to the Earth. Everything went smoothly. They have reached half the journey of returning Earth. But due to long journey, the fuel gets drowned. But the Union of Space Organization correctly noted toward this and fixed a fuel cylinder outside the spaceship. But one from the squad must get out of the ship and fix the cylinder. But it was quite risky as they were in their half of the way to Earth. Finally, they have decided between them and the hero of the Star Squad gets on to the target. Michael wore protective suits and went out of the spaceship and tried to fix the fuel cylinder. Alice from the ship were under the control of the cable tied with Michael. If the fuel gets dried fully, the ship blasts into millions of pieces and their full hard work ends in vain. But they didn't give up in that moment. As a bold character of the story, Michael starts his work and gets near the fuel cylinder, but it was little far from the spaceship. Suddenly, the tight cable cut down. Michael starts floating in the atmosphere due to gravity. He went far from the ship. Uh, he went far from the ship. Alice quickly get down from the ship and tried to grab the cable of Michael. But Michael tried most to get near Alice, but with many tries, Alice get connected the cable with Michael. Zara and Jasper get them inside the ship. This became the greatest twist among their entire journey. They got relaxed after reaching certain distance near to it and reached the Earth. Zara and Jasper get them inside the spaceship. This became the greatest twist among their entire journey. They got relaxed after reaching certain distance near to Earth. After reaching several distance near to the Earth, the researcher from the organization was surprised to get connected with the spaceship again and traces its location. They have spoken to the star squads. Are you there still alive? Have you reached our destiny? They arise many questions with curiosity. The squad hero Michael replied, we are still alive. We have reached our exploration destiny. We won. The whole Union of Five Space Research Organization enjoyed their tour de force and published an energy to the media that they have won on their project exploration of itself. All the people turned and looked upon the victory of the Union. Everyone from every nook and corner of the city speaks about this, and the Space Research Unit arranged a meeting on before public with the Star Survival Squad. On seeing them, people shouted with the inner voice of victory, and from every corner arises the voice of chorus, Star Survival Squad's victory. People asked the question to the squads, and they replied, They have reached the Earth after 10.5 years of journey, so they were completely tested in the robotics laboratory, and they have arranged a conference meet after few days. The chief of the Union Space Research Organization planned to send humans to exoplanet for a new start of life in their upcoming future generation. They have started to issue tickets to passengers both for upper classes and all middle class peoples from different occupations as doctor, farmer, carpenter, lawyer, scientist, teacher, professors from every occupation to set up a new future generation with all the facilities in each works of our basic needs in our new planet. They have created hibernation chambers for 5,000 people who are joining with them in their journey to the exoplanet, which looks like Earth. They have made all the new arrangements inside the ship to assemble 5,000 people inside it. With the Star Survival Squad and the chief members, they started the next project, Star Survival Squad Project 2. With humans and humanoids, all the things around them were ready. It makes 5 years to start their next project. Everyone got ready with their seats given in the chamber with the ID. Everyone were ready to sleep in the chamber. The squads operated it well and made all safe inside the sleeping chamber, and the journey started with the faith and belief of another tour de force. While charging them in the charging chamber, Alice felt some visuals regarding Zara and Jasper. Because Alice is programmed to see the past vision of things happen. Even the creature have tried to erase the happenings. Alice can feel something when she went near Sarah and Jasper. She informed Michael, tried to make a clearness of his views with the projection from her eyes. Alice and Michael were stunned by seeing these visuals in the projection. That Zara and Jasper were shocked and felt when it happens between us, why we have no memories of this, what happened to us, why we didn't inform our chief squad if we see this alien creature. There arises millions of questions into the future happenings. What's going to happen? How they are going to revenge with these things happen because of them? What is going to happen to 5,000 people in the hibernation chamber? How the Star Survival Squad going to face the situation? Whether they could reach their destiny or not. They have two options. Option 1, to reach their destiny and fight against the alien in the exoplanet and start their new life. Option 2, to back their world and give up their project 2. What's going to happen? Tick, tick, time goes. Star Survival Squad 2, victory or descendants. Hear my story and see the imaginations to audience. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Mustafa Wara and I'm going to present you my fictional story Live Together, Die Together. The character of the stories are different type of plant, different type of human, different type of animal, different type of microbes, Lord, an angel and a narrator. This drama is set when humans started thinking of themselves as king and other living creature as servant. So one fine day, because of increasing tortures of human, the plant decided to go on hunger strike. Now, what will happen after this? Let's see in this drama. Humans. We are the king of the earth, ruling it since birth. The most intelligent of the brain, we have right to control all the food chain. Suddenly nearby plants starts moving. Humans are scared. Oh god, what is this happening? Why are the plant moving? Humans think that they are drunk. Plant to human. You must not have been drunk, but you are not awake. After suffering from your ill behavior and your torture, we all plants have decided that we will now make you awake. We will wake you. We will wake you. Plants. We all plants have decided that we are not going to serve you anymore. From today, we all plants are going on a strike. Strike, strike, strike. Humans, how can you go on a strike like that? It's your duty to be served as a food, be used for fire, be used for making houses, and be used as wood, charcoal, petrol, etc. for fuel. Plants, because of such disgusting thoughts of yours, we are all going on strike. We are not serving you, We all plants live our own life, and while living our life, whatever is possible, we try to help other living beings. But what do? Kill us and misuse us? Human, we have brain, house, car, food, strength, money. What do you have? Plant, we have sun and its energy. Humans, we also help and serve you. Plant in shock. Humans, you and serving us? How? Humans think but fail to give any explanation. After that, they demand that what if we don't give you anything? We are the highest form of food chain. We'll do whatever we want. And argues with plant. How will you go on strike? Whatever you do, we will forcefully use you. Plants, we know that we humans have both the thinking and capacity to do things forcefully. That's why we all plants have decided that we'll stop making our food. We'll stop photosynthesis. Human, if you stop photosynthesis, then you will also die of hunger. Plant, this is called hunger strike. We'll die hungry, but we'll take you along. We'll self-destruct. Humans start discussing among themselves. Humans, friends, they are talking seriously. In between discussions, some animals enter the scene. Now, what will happen next? Animal requesting plant. Why are you trying to kill us because of this human? We have not misused or harmed you. Many of our animals rely on food. If you go all on hunger strike, we will also die. Plant to animals. We are not happy doing all this. We also wish that all living beings live together peacefully and in harmony. But these humans don't understand such thing. Later, plants suggest to animals that they also join in their hunger strike, a fight against humans for their value and right. Animals thinking, these plants might be correct. These humans have also made our life hell. These humans have stolen our food, clothes, and house. Animal discussing among themselves after thinking animal to plants. We have decided that animals will also support you in your cause. From now on, we will also go on a hunger strike against inhumanity and inequality. Humans, shocked, try to persuade animals. How can you animals come in terms with what plants are saying? These plants are making fool of you. Animal to humans, this plant gives us food. What do you give us? Human to animal after thinking. Yes, we give you house and protection in the form of zoo and wildlife sanctuaries. Animal to human. Really, by destroying our row house called jungle, you give us one room kitchen flat and that too like jail, and you tell us that you give us a place to live? What a joke. Now we are not going to be fooled by you. Humans starts discussing among themselves. In background, 3 to 4 microbes are entering. Now why have they come? Microbes. Before you all say anything, let us give us our introduction. We are present everywhere, but we are not visible to all of you because of our small size. We are microorganisms. By using a special technique, we have made ourselves big so that we can also take part in the meeting. Humans seeing microbe, one more headache. Oi tiny, stay in your size. Microbes to human. This is one of the things which I don't like about human. Arrogance. Microbes to human. Whatever happens in a human body, we microbes are always to be blamed. And then you eat antibiotic for almost every disease. After serving you our whole life, what do we get? Only antibiotics? So we all microbes have decided to participate in the hunger strike with plants and animals. Microbes, strike, strike, strike. Plant, super. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Human, scared. Wait, what will it take to break the strike? How much money do you need? Tell me. Plants, we all want that we should get equal power and position as yours. There should be rule about how much we have control against each other, and all the available thing on the earth would be equally distributed among all four of us. Human, no, your demands are unacceptable. Plants, means you will prefer to die? Humans, but accepting your condition is not possible. Lord has given us the right to be most excellent greatest form of creature in this world. Microbes to human. So how can you say that you are considered as greatest? Human, it is universally proven that we are awesome. Animal. You humans still don't know everything about the universe, but whenever any reason is to be given, you say it's universally proved. Until all our demands are not accepted, we are not going to end our hunger strike. Humans. Then all of us die. Everyone sits. Now this is story of earth. In heaven there has been an emergency declared. Every angel is trying to find the Lord. But why? And if everyone is going on hunger strike, then what will happen of earth? In heaven, angel, Lord, where are you? There is an emergency and we need you. Lord, what happened? Angel, Lord, every living being on earth has gone on a hunger strike. No one is ready to give up. We need your judgment for them. Come fast. Both Lord and angel enters earth. Everyone stands up. Human on seeing Lord and angel. Now who is this another stupido? Lord to angel. Who is this arrogant and rude creature? Angel. It is one of your favorite inventions, human. Lord. Foolish, I have created this universe. I am the Lord. Everyone's get shocked. Everyone, Lord? Human. Please forgive us, Lord, but you have come at a correct time. Please tell this plant, animal and microbe that we are the greatest and topmost living creatures of this earth. All plant, we are. Animals, no we are. Microbes, no we are. Every living creature starts fighting among each other. Lord, order, order, why are you fighting among yourself? I want to know what is happening here from you all. Plants to Lord. We all plants, animal and microbe have raised our voice against human torture and inequality, and hence we have all gone on a hunger strike. Microbes, you demand that we should have equal rights on earth as this human have. Lord, to humans, they're not telling anything wrong. The earth was made equal for all the living creatures. Human, counter arguing. But Lord, we are the most intelligent, stronger, smartest and loyable creature present on earth. Hey, we have intelligence, house, power, lots of food. Hey, what do they have? Lord to all plants, animal and microbes. Humans are not telling anything wrong. They have made themselves capable of ruling over you. Plant. How can we both be correct? Please check in your rule book and tell us who is right. Microbe. How will it be decided who is the king of the earth? Angel to Lord. Human claims that they have everything including brain, power, food and house. So why not keep competition for these things? Whoever will win will be called as the king of the earth. Human. Competition very easy. We'll win this competition. We accept it. Plant, animal and microbe after thinking we also accept it. Angel. The competitions are like this. The first round is about making food. The one who makes the fastest and largest quantity of food with the least amount of material will be the winner. The second round is about making a house. The one who makes the fastest house for themselves with the least amount of material will be the winner. The third round will be about strength. Whoever wins the tug of war will be the winner. The last round will be about intelligence. Whoever answers the most number of GK questions will be the winner. The one who will win the most number of rounds will be declared as the final winner and called the king of the earth. There is only one condition for all the round. Only one participant will participate from each group for each round and they won't be repeated in another round. Plant to animal and microbes. We all three have no problem among us. So I feel that among the three of us, whoever may be the final winner, we will all make a party and rule the earth equally among us. We all will live peacefully and let others live peacefully. Do you agree? Microbes and animal both agree. Angel, so let's start with round number 1, food making competition. Human to another human. We can make the fastest food, but we need either plant or animal or microbe as food, then only we can make something. Human asks animal or plant. Animal brother, will you give us some meat to make some food? Plant sisters, will you give us some vegetables to make some meal? Animal and plant both to humans. Go to hell. Animal, we get from either from plants or animal. So alone we won't be able to win this competition. Microbes ask cyanobacteria to make them food. Plant, I have prepared my food. Microbes, I have also prepared my food. So now who will be the winner? Both plant and microbes have prepared the food fastest, but plant have prepared the most abundant food. Lord, and the winner of first round are plant. Angel, now let the second round begin. Human, we can't make our house using a tree, but we can surely use earth and make ourselves a house. Animal, let us send a rat. Plant, our house is also this earth. We'll quickly dig a hole and insert our root into the earth and we'll win. Angel, okay, let's start round number 2. Microbes, they build our house. Human, so fast? Microbes, we only need one particular stand to get us shelter. Lord, so the winner of the second round is microbe. Angel, now round number 3. Who among you four is the strongest? Plant, call the giant secretary. Microbe, come on, this is cheating. How can a single microbe win? Human, call the strongest human. Animal, We have selected our strongest animal, the African bush elephant. Human looking at the elephant. Look at that size. I can never beat this elephant. I give up. Plant. Can we stick our root inside the earth? Angel. No. Plant. Then we also give up. Lord. Since no one is willing to participate in this competition against the animal, they are the winner. Angel. Now the fourth and the last round. Who is the smartest? If human being wins, then there will be a tie. If this happens, we'll play a tiebreaker round. But if one of the plant, microbe or animal win, they will consider the ruler and king of the earth. Angel, you will be asked 5 questions together. The one who answers the most fastest and in most number will be declared as winner. Plant, the Lord has not given us any brain. How we will win? Microbe, yes friend, if we also had a brain, we would have won. Animal, we should send a chimpanzee. They are far relatives of human. They should at least be able to give reply to some of the questions. Angel, so first question, which force makes the earth revolve around the sun? Human, gravitational force. Angel, second question, which is the most abundant element found on the planet Earth? Human, oxygen. Angel, approximately how many stars are found in the universe? Human, 10 raised to 24. Angel, by giving answer to 3 of the 5 questions, the winner of this round is human. Animal, this is cheating. Angel, since each of you are the winner of one round, there is a tie. Now we will play a tiebreaker round. Lord, leave it as it is, Angel. There will be no tiebreaker round. I wanted the competition to be tied. The only motive in making you all this was to make human realize that there is importance of all living species equally on this earth. No one is greater than other, nor is anyone smaller. Each one has an important role in maintaining the balance of this earth. If any of the species die, then the other living organism will also die. Do you all understand what I am saying? Human, plant, microbes and animal? Yes, my lord. Lord, there is no king or ruler among any of you. You all are the travelers on this planet Earth who cannot survive without the help of each other. The only way to live is by respecting and helping other form of life. All plant, animal, microbes and human. We may be different, but we need each other. Same planet, same weather, live together, die together.
I am presenting our article, The Weird Life Story of the Photon, from Fiction to Reality. My co-authors are Sudha and Reena. I begin by quoting the couplet by Alexander Pope. Nature and nature's laws lay hid in night. God said, let Newton be, and all was light. So Newton and Huygens fought for particle or wave nature of light. Newton said light is a particle. Huygens said it is a wave. So light is a beam of particles. Newton called them as corpuscles. Huygens proposed a wave model of light. So essentially, refraction and reflection of light were the only known experiments of that era. And in reflection, a beam of light ray, falls on a medium and then it gets reflected. And in refraction, a ray bends towards the normal when light falls from air to any medium like glass or water. So Huygens wave theory describes refraction provided that speed of light is slower in glass than that in air. So this is waves win over particles based on this kind of analysis, but Huygens theory was not accepted when he proposed it. So Huygens wave theory was verified by means of several experiments carried out after a century. These experiments are interference and diffraction experiments of light carried out by Young and Fresnel during in the 18th century. So you have, say, a bead here which does not let light pass through it. It is opaque. So when it passes through, there is a shadow region. In the shadow region, you find what is called as a diffraction pattern, and the central spot here is bright. So this is what was observed by Fresnel, and this could be explained. This experiment could be explained using Huygens wave theory. And similarly, Young's experiment said when light passes through two different slits and one observes the pattern of light on a screen, it is found to be bright and dark bands. These are called interference fringes, and this is explained only using wave theory. So in that era of 18th century, light is light behaves like a wave is what was seen. From the classical perspective, we say the nature of light is best described in terms of a wave. But quantum theory makes this wave particle duality more ambiguous. So it's not a science fiction, but real science. Light, which is named as photon in the era of quantum theory, it seems to be both wave and particle. So this is here it is a wave and here it is a particle, but both wave and particle nature are together in what is called as a photon. So particle nature of light surfaced again in 1905. This is the miracle year of Einstein. This appeared in a different avatar. So basically what was noticed was when light falls on metal, it knocks off the electrons from the metal. So this behavior could be explained if photon behaves like a particle. So such a particle was called light quantum, or this is first hypothesized by Albert Einstein, and naming ceremony was done in 1926 for the photon. So this is a 20th century baby, and this is a product of quantum mechanics as a theory. Einstein got Nobel Prize for this photoelectric effect, explaining photoelectric effect. So a photon has a self-identity crisis now. Am I a wave? Am I a particle? I don't know. So if it is a wave, then we should be able to see interference pattern by using this photon, what is observed in a laboratory. Today, photon can be created in a lab and one can check interference experiments, and also particle nature like photoelectric effect, Compton effect, these things can be observed. So particle and wave, it looks like a science fiction. A train coming here, whether it goes through this path or that path, it is not possible. It can go in one path, fine, but both the paths are not possible. But photon appears to go through both the paths if you do a interference experiment. So I just wanted to talk about again continuation of Alexander Pope's couplet. Nature and nature's laws lay hid in night. God said, let Newton be, and all was light. But it was continued by J.C. Square. He said, and all was light. No, it did not last. The devil howling, ho, let Einstein be, restored the status quo. So this is what is, we are coming to wave mechanics or quantum mechanics, where particles are both waves and particles are intrinsically together. So in his PhD thesis, Louis de Broglie proposed that if light has particle nature, maybe particles like electrons have wave properties too. So this was explained, that is past decade of 1800, Young had done double slit experiment, and then one had noticed if it is only one photon, there one single light particle, will it give interference? That looks very mysterious. So but these things were explained, these things were experimentally observed by Davison and Germer for electron. Diffraction of electron was found, and also if you send electron beam through gold, let us say thin foil of gold, you do find Fresnel's diffraction pattern with the central beam to be bright. So these things are all observed. So you do have both particle nature as well as the wave nature for matter in the quantum era. So if I have single electron passing through two slits, it just goes and hits the screen. And as I go on, I do find a pattern where there is electron hits here, but electron doesn't hit on the dark region. So I do find a pattern which develops gradually into bright and dark fringes, which is Young's double slit experiment, by single electrons or single photons. So now the question is, if a photon were a particle in an interference experiment, is it possible for me to check which path the photon went through? That is it this path or this path? A classical particle would follow a single path, but same thing. Can we talk about a quantum particle in that sense? The question then is, if I have a source of particles, one comes here, it either goes through this slit or that slit, but I am able to observe fringes after several such particles are sent. My job is to notice which path it has followed. So, but if I want to see which path it has followed, shine some detector and check whether it is here or here. If I notice that I don't find any fringe pattern, no interference on the screen is noticed. And now if I try to see the path, but I erase the information, that is, I saw it, but I don't tell the one who is detecting which path in a detector, it is erased now. Still, then interference pattern will appear. That is, the electrons or photons behave very intelligently. If you watch them, there is no interference pattern. They behave like particles. If you want to erase the information, then it is gone, that I have a wave nature again. So if I erase the information on which path it has gone through, I do see interference. These experiments have become very famous. So I do have both particle and wave nature is the reality that we have to live with. And in the 21st century of quantum science, we have quantum information science. We recall a science fiction television series, Star Trek, where we had a transporter machine which would convert any material object into energy and beam it to another place, location, where it is reconstructed into matter. So that was a fiction. But today we are able to couple two photons at initially to be entangled and take them away to two distant lab locations and then transport any information contained in some quantum state from one place to another place. So the latest reported record distance of such quantum teleportation is 1400 kilometers by a Chinese group, and we do have various notions on this teleportation. One is the various places reporting on teleportation today, and we have teleportation picturized like this, and light to matter, matter to matter kind of teleportation is being tried. We have much more to come during quantum information science era, so we have to wait and watch this. So in the 17th century we had a debate between particles, waves. In the 18th century we found that light is a wave, but again in the 19th century we do find particle and wave coexist, and in 21st century we have teleportation happening in real science. And all this looks like the parable of four blind people watching an elephant and that is touching an elephant and talking about what are its features. So that is kind of era where if one doesn't know scientific methods to conclude what is happening here. So we have these references, and thank you very much for your patience.
Name: Tanmi Srivastava. My story title is Difficult Breaths. She caught her breath finally. Her mask wasn't airtight, but it was enough. The doctor said that the aerosols were only dangerous in closed and crowded places. Well, she was hoping to avoid such situations with anyone. However, reality completely ignored her wishes. As it always does, she thought tiredly as a small hand closed around her wrist. Her grey jacket, which seemed to be glistening beneath a light, protected her wrist from the small hiss that emanated from the point of contact. She spun, and with a violent swing, clattered whoever was behind her. The metal pipe in her hand only hit empty air. She stumbled forward with the momentum. She crashed onto the rod, with the rod clanging out of her hand. She sat up, dizzy, but she could still hear the laughter of a child who grabbed her hand. It was joyful, maybe too much so in this red and orange hell world, a very recent hell world. Her reaction had been on point, but chills she had missed. What would it be like when she finally took down one of them? It had seemed impossible to her once, but she was pleased with her progress. She still had not gotten the hang of combat, but maybe well enough for her to buy herself time. The corner she had sought out to escape the smoke was covered in darkness. No lights were around. Not likely to be. The government had long abandoned any pretense of maintenance in the area. 2 years ago, this place would have been bustling, a market full of vegetables and random shops. People brushing shoulders, holding hands, standing close by. After the pandemic, the area slowly turned haunted, only occupied by the ghost of her visions. She preferred the ghost now, even if she did not admit it. The sky still glowed orange, most likely from the bushfire. The road she was standing on was scorched, the result of the previous fires. She was hitting near crossroads in an abandoned petrol pump. Most everything seemed to be abandoned here, the bus stand, the tiny shops, and the grandiose road down south. There was not a whisper, just a constant sizzle. Her house wasn't far from here, with all memories it held. It was an old traffic police station, a small box shaped building which had been left untouched by the Great Escape. It had was boring as well, and a supermarket nearby to steal from. Plenty to make her life comfortable. But it wasn't her life she was concerned with. "Who's there?" came a suspicious voice from the inside of the blocky building. "Me," she replied weirdly. The day had been hard, food difficult to come by. However, she had found enough that he would not go hungry tonight. This life was hard for her, coming from a life of privilege. With a sigh, she entered the building to find a boy sitting with her brother. Instantly wary, she felt for her metal pipe. The chill of the steel reassured her, and she was asked, "Who's this?" The kid turned his eyes towards her. They seemed too big for his face, and seemed watery at the current moment. However, she did manage to catch a tinge of green in them. "Who is this, Wish?" she asked her brother again. However, he did not seem to hear her, turned away towards the other corner and muttering to himself. The kid continued to stare at her, so she stared back, daring him to speak. But the boy was quiet, almost shy, at her presence. He lowered his eyes and looked away, obviously uncomfortable to match gazes with her. She continued standing in the doorway, not moving inside until her brother had stopped praying. Once the muttering stopped, her brother stood up. He was very tall and gangly, and he towered over the kid, but his voice was soft as ever. He was shivering behind the dumpster, not coughing, just shivering. Looked washed down to the bone in the rain. Couldn't just leave him. He spoke in an apologetic tone, knowing he had put us in danger. The virus was extremely infectious, and though it did not kill everyone, it killed a fair few. She was not the kind to endanger her brother on a chance. Losing your parents wasn't hard, but someone she wanted to protect? That would destroy her. "We don't have enough food for him. I will go out and scavenge for him. And if he is infected?" He was not coughing. That is not a test that clears him. He cannot go back onto the Rhine. Homelessness in a pandemic kills you. We should know that better than anyone. We should. Should we? She slid slowly. It was a difficult decision. Was it worth the risk? The boy stayed with them. She could not refuse her brother, and those huge eyes the kid had. They reminded her of someone on a hospital bed, their face fast shrinking, eyes becoming huge. The boy was no trouble. He kept quiet and asked for nothing. He did whatever they asked, fetching water, stealing oil, breaking into homes. He was not particularly good at any of the things, but his willingness to work made for a good worker. He was odd, however. I caught him staring at me or my brother often. Just a constant, watchful stare. He did not flinch when we looked back, just continued to watch. Maybe it was due to the fact that we had not lived with another person with the death of our parents. But this kid was peculiar indeed. My brother was completely imperturbed by him. They talked in low voices about gods and faith and religion, things that I thought my brother would avoid after what happened. But he just got more fervent. They prayed together, thought I never bothered to listen. It was all nonsense that they had led to my parents' death. I was not going to be roped in. A week after the sins arrived, she was running away from those ghosts. They never really had figured out what they were. They were not particularly numerous, but she had seen people who touched them. Their skin shriveled, almost as if it had been burned by acid. The ghosts were only found around places of death, where someone had passed away due to the virus. Science hadn't explained it yet, and she was sure that no one would care even if they did. Who was left to listen? She suddenly stopped, hearing the laughter fade away behind her. She turned, and the dark road stretched behind her, a light flickering in the distance. Her breath suddenly became heavy, as if something was standing on her chest. Something was constricting her lungs and not allowing the air to escape. She fell down to her knees, choking and gasping, and then fell into the darkness. It was still dark when she woke up. The boy with the big eyes was standing over her. It seemed odd that he was here. He should be at home with her brother. Was he okay? Did something happen? Why was the kid here? The kid just stood there. His eye was greener than usual, and there was a smell of the fire in air. Where is he? She asked, her chest starting to constrict. He just gave her his hand. She took it and screamed.
हेलो, मैं कल्पना कुलश्रेष्ठ। आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। मेरा सौभाग्य है कि इस आयोजन में सम्मिलित होने का अवसर मुझे मिला। उसके लिए डॉक्टर श्री नरहरि और उनकी टीम को मेरा विशेष आभार। मेरा मानना है कि विज्ञान कथाएं भी, क्योंकि मूलतः कहानी की ही विधा है, इसलिए एक अच्छी कहानी की विशेषताएं उसमें भी होनी चाहिए, जैसे गढ़ा हुआ कथानक, सार्थक संवाद, देशकाल वातावरण का समुचित चित्रण इत्यादि। ऐसा होने पर ही कोई कथा अपने पाठक से संवाद स्थापित कर सकती है और सफल कथा की श्रेणी में आ सकती है। अपनी इसी मान्यता के अनुसार मैंने इन कहानियों को समझने का प्रयत्न किया है। मलेशिया से सीमा कुलकर्णी जी की कथा है और रेड ट्रेजेक्ट्री। 30 सितंबर को एक विशेष दिवस के रूप में मनाते हुए लेखिका ने कई सारी घटनाओं से इसे जोड़कर बड़े संतुलन के साथ कहानी को आगे बढ़ाया है। टेराफॉर्मेशन ऑफ मार्स पर कई कहानियाँ लिखी गई हैं, पर इस कथा में मार्स कॉलोनी ए का जैसा सूक्ष्मता के साथ विवरण लेखिका ने दिया है, उससे स्पष्ट होता है कि कितने गहन शोध और परिश्रम के बाद इस कथा को लिखा गया है। कथानक रोचक है और पाठक को बांधे रखने में सक्षम है। दूसरी कथा आयुष्मान भारत डॉक्टर विनीता बाला सुब्रमण्यम की है। ये आज के सबसे चर्चित, दुनिया को भयाक्रांत करने वाले, ठहरा देने वाले प्रसंग कोविड-19 पर रची गई है। कहानी को विद्यार्थी और प्रोफेसर की बातचीत के द्वारा आगे बढ़ाया गया है। कथानक घटना प्रधान नहीं बल्कि विचार प्रधान है। ये कोविड-19 से जुड़े प्रत्येक पक्ष का विश्लेषण करती है। विद्यार्थी और प्रोफेसर के संवादों की भाषा सरल और प्रवाहमय है और संवाद सुनने में अच्छे लगते हैं। अंत में कहानी आयुष्मान भारत की अवधारणा को स्पष्ट करते हुए अपने उद्देश्य में सफल रहती है। स्टोरी ऑफ फोटोन प्रोफेसर A.R. उषा देवी और उनके साथियों द्वारा लिखी गई है। ये लाइट के पार्टिकल और वेव नेचर के बारे में लिखा गया आलेख है। एलेक्जेंडर पोप की उक्ति के द्वारा बड़े रोचक ढंग से इसकी शुरुआत होती है। ये साइंस फिक्शन नहीं है, पर साइंस फिक्शन जितनी ही रोचकता के साथ इतने जटिल विषय को सहज ढंग से प्रस्तुत करती है। डॉक्टर सहाना प्रसाद की बहुत ही प्यारी कथा है स्टोरी ऑफ फ्यूचर। ये भी कोरोना वायरस के कारण बदलते घटनाक्रम पर आधारित है। थॉट सेंसर कॉरिडोर और वाईफाई द्वारा उनका ब्रेन से कनेक्शन का आइडिया अद्भुत है और पाठक को मंत्रमुग्ध कर देता है। अंत में विचार शून्यता और पूर्ण शांति के दार्शनिक संदेश के साथ कथा समाप्त हो जाती है। इस कथा का आरंभ, विकास और अंत तीनों ही बहुत अनूठे, संदेशपरक और मनोरंजक हैं। बहुत ही प्यारी कथा। अगली कथा अभिषेक कुमार मिश्र जी की है, भय बिनु होए न प्रीत। पैंसपर्मिया की अवधारणा पर आधारित इस कथा में लेखक ने बड़े मार्मिक ढंग से मनुष्य द्वारा फैलाए जा रहे प्रदूषण, जीव जंतुओं की विलुप्ति और संसाधनों के विनाश को दिखाया है। पृथ्वी की बर्बादी को रोकने के लिए एलियंस द्वारा अपनाए गए तरीके यानी कोरोना वायरस से लेखक ने इसे जोड़ा है। लॉकडाउन के फलस्वरूप पृथ्वी के पर्यावरण में सुधार आने लगता है। कोरोना विषाणु के इस प्रभाव को एक भिन्न दृष्टिकोण के साथ देखना इसकी कथा वस्तु को रोचक बना देता है। भाषा शैली आकर्षक है और शीर्षक विशेष रूप से ध्यान आकृष्ट करता है। अगली कहानी श्री मुस्तफ़ा वोहरा जी की है, लिव टुगेदर डाई टुगेदर। पशु पक्षी, पौधे, मनुष्य, सूक्ष्मजीव, देवदूत और ईश्वर आदि पात्रों को लेकर लिखा गया यह एक बाल एकांकी है। इसमें मनुष्य द्वारा अन्य जीवों पर किए जा रहे अत्याचार और दुर्व्यवहार को दर्शाया गया है, जिसके विरोध स्वरूप अन्य सभी जीव भूख हड़ताल पर चले जाते हैं। इसकी मंचीय प्रस्तुति बड़ी आसानी से की जा सकती है। इसमें नाटकीयता और रोमांच की मात्रा बहुत अधिक है, जो इसके बाल पाठकों को विशेष रूप से लुभाएगा। अंतिम कथा डिफिकल्ट ब्रीथ्स श्री तन्मय श्रीवास्तव जी की है। ये एक बेहद संक्रामक वायरस के कारण उत्पन्न हुई महामारी पर केंद्रित है, जिसमें निराशा भरे वातावरण का बड़ा भयावह और रहस्यमय सा चित्रण किया गया है। कहानी में भूत यानी घोस्ट भी दिखाए गए हैं, जिनका कोई वैज्ञानिक स्पष्टीकरण नहीं दिया गया है। इस प्रकार यह एक खुले अंत वाली कथा है, जो पाठक को रोमांचित भी करती है और चकरा भी देती है। तो ये थे मेरे विचार इन कथाओं पर। लेखकों को बहुत बहुत बधाई और इस आयोजन की सफलता हेतु आप सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। नमस्कार।